hangout session with Professor Nilanjan Banik. Professor Banik is a professor of economics at Mahindra Ecolabs, and he holds a PhD in economics from the Utah State University. I will now ask the good professor to speak a little about himself, after which we are going to ask him some questions that we have received from our audiences, as well as a few from our own side. Professor, all yours now.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen, and good afternoon to all of the viewers and the listeners. Well, my name is Nilanjan Banik. I graduated in economics from Delhi School of Economics, and thereafter I went to Utah State University in the US to get my PhD. I came back and joined Anna University, and after that I joined Institute for Financial Management and Research, which is based out of Chennai. It's a business school. And about my other professional activities, I'm also working as a consultant with places like Asian Development Banks, World Trade Organization, UNESCAP, and in India with CII, FICCI, RIS, and ICRIER. And about my other teaching, visiting teaching assignments, I've been visiting Indian Institute of Management at Ranchi, Rohtak, and at Indore. Overseas, I've been going to University of Durham and University of Greenland. So that is basically a brief introduction about myself. I would be happy to answer any further questions.
Okay, Professor, we do have a few questions for you, some from our audiences and some from our side. Now that you have told us a little bit about yourself, I would now like to bring the focus back onto MEC and its multidisciplinary perspective on imparting education. I would like you to talk a little bit about this multidisciplinary perspective that we've been talking about to our audiences, so that our students who are watching us right now would have a better understanding of our program and our curriculum.
Yeah, sure. I think it's a very unique thing. The reason I'm saying unique is most of the engineering colleges in India right now focus only delivering on 3 subjects, which is mathematics, physics, chemistry, along with other branches of engineering. But what we have in MSc is quite unique, because here as a student you will get an opportunity to pick subjects which you are passionate about. For instance, you might be good in mathematics, at the same time you might have some fascination for economics or sociology or philosophy. Here in Mahindra Ecolabs, you will get that opportunity to pick and choose subject of your choice. And it's not about only the liking, because we believe in order to become complete and in order to make yourself operational in the job market, you need to have knowledges across various disciplines. Something you will get only at Mahindra Ecolabs, and that is the unique selling point of this university. Yeah, Praveen?
Okay, fair enough, Professor. Yeah. All right. And in your profile and earlier when you spoke to us in one of the sessions, we heard you speak about something unique, something we had not heard of before, called econometrics. To a layman, it would sound like you've combined or mixed economics with some data analytics or some such thing. But I think it's going to be part of what you're going to teach at MEC to students, and we'd like you to talk a little bit about econometrics.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, because what happens is many times during our day-to-day conversation we tend to throw away some statement. For instance, if I tell you that because Hyderabad is growing, the neighboring region in Hyderabad will also tend to grow along with Hyderabad. I'm just stating an example. Now this is I'm making a statement, but in order to analyze this, or in order to support it statistically, you need to collect some data from the neighboring regions of Hyderabad, and see actually, because of Hyderabad growing, how much of that growth is spilling over into the neighboring region. So essentially econometrics is trying to understand economics with the tools, and here the tools are basically borrowed from statistics, mathematics, because at the end of the day, if you want to put some scientific argument in front of some knowledgeable audience, you need to prove that argument with some data. So econometrics is basically, with the help of some data, I am scientifically proving some hypothesis that is being placed in front of me. Now, econometrics have got wide application. In IFMR, I was teaching financial engineering students. There, basically, I was teaching a course on forecasting. Now, as you know, that forecasting is bread and butter of most of the fund managers or people working in banks or people even working in the corporates. Because at the end of the day, you would like to know that how the future entails for you. Whether, for instance, if Mahindra is selling cars, what would you think, what would be the value of car being sold a year from now? So again, if I have to put something on a scientific basis, I have to do some forecasting. And what is forecasting? Forecasting basically, again, is if I have a data generating process, let's say I have the sales figure of Mahindra over the last 10 years, the best forecast for me without doing anything else would be the mean of those 10 years figure. But if I am a little bit smarter, I can actually then try to use some knowledge of econometrics and then try to forecast in a more rational fashion as to what would be the sale of cars for Mahindra in the next years. So basically, econometrics is a tool which is purely based on the data that we observe around us, and by analyzing those data, we come out with some statement, so that the statement that we are making are not floating in air. It's based purely on the basis of the data and observation that we see around us. So econometrics in that way is a very powerful tool, and I think that if students have some sufficient knowledge about forecasting or on general econometrics, it will be very much helpful for them to get a job in the corporate houses.
Very interesting, Professor. And now coming back to the curriculum, to MEC curriculum, one of the students has posed a question. He says that the MEC slogan itself contains that word entrepreneur, which denotes our commitment towards entrepreneurship, basically. He wants to know, would there be any course or elective in the curriculum that would help people interested in entrepreneurship pursue it with a greater focus?
Yeah. So one of the thought leaders of Mahindra Eco Centers, most of them are coming from the business background, and the emphasis is a complete teaching or a holistic way of delivering lectures. And when I say holistic, basically something I just mentioned a few minutes back, it's not only has to do with mathematics, chemistry, or physics, but also has to do with economics. Because at the end of the day, to me, any graduate who pass out from any universities are themselves a product. And in order to sell themselves, it is very essential for them to understand how the business around them is working, which will also make them much more employable. So in order to make them employable, you need to have some knowledge about the business, society, and economics. And as rightly pointed out by this student, it is kind of become very essential for the potential graduate to have basic knowledge of how finance is done, how economics is run, and stuff like that. And keeping that in mind, we are offering a course called Media Science and Technology, where we are choosing, this course will be offered in the first 2 semesters. We are choosing topical issues around environment, around energy, around business, around urbanization, around infrastructure, and around transportation. So these are the things that you cannot live without it. Because if you're, let's say, stepping out from your house, the very first thing you need is public transportation system. Or if you're driving your own car, you should be aware that that car you are driving has to be environmentally friendly. Otherwise, you cannot sustain that environment. So all these issues that that affect our day-to-day life or day-to-day interaction. We have kind of collate all these topical issues, and student will be asked to work on these issues so that they go out in the field and gather information on these topical issues, primarily to understand what is the current state of affairs, and eventually what can be done to improve that from that state of affair. So in that way, it's going to be a great learning process for the student. First, to go out in the field, try to understand what is there at this point of time, and B, what more could be done to make that state better. So for instance, if I'm talking about urbanization, right now the problem which comes to our mind is, although there are various facilities regarding school, colleges, hospital, or sanitation, not all of us are equally getting benefited from all these various other services, be it school, be it colleges, be it even going to getting access to bank accounts, stuff like that. Only very few knowledgeable people or the richer section of the population are getting better benefit of this urban infrastructure as compared to the others. So here, if I am asking a student to go out and try to figure out in what way the delivery mechanism, be it on finance, finance means it can be like microfinance if some microfinance activities happen, if some way we can take this bank to the group of people who are otherwise not entitled to open a bank account, in what way that would change their life. So this kind of things, which are very important for each one of our day-to-day interaction or day-to-day life. And here the student comes in, because the student is basically going out in the field and trying to understand these topical issues on their own. So here is the big difference with any other institute in India, because any other institute in India, if I tell you that we are offering a course on business and society, basically they are going to prescribe a standard textbook. Here we are saying, no, we don't believe in the standard curriculum, or because many a times what happens, as you know, Praveen, most of the things which are being taught are kind of backdated, and because it's not possible to kind of change the textbook very often. And more so in economics, I can tell you, because I've been visiting all the IIMs, the standard textbooks are the one which are kind of borrowed from the US. It's written by the American authors, and most of these textbooks which are written in the American context are not applicable for the Indian economy. So here is the differentiating factors. Here we are asking the student, hey, you don't have to believe what's written in the textbook. All you have to do is you go out in the field, see and observe what's the current state of affairs in that particular area, be it environment, be it urbanization, be it transport, be it infrastructure, be it any other topics which we think is important for the society, and then suggest to us, along with other experts, as how we can improve from the status quo or from the current position that you're seeing. So that is the whole holistic approach I was speaking to, or trying to explain to you about. It's not about just sitting in the classroom and listening to some boring lectures, and which is many times we used to kind of jokingly tell ourselves that the theory world is totally different from the practical world, which is actually the case. So that the student does not suffer from this kind of thing, so that they are not too much distance from what is actually happening in practical life, so that they are aware of what's happening in the society. We actually ask the student to go out and try to derive something which can be taken as part of the textbook when some great textbook are written. So in that way, I think this is a differentiating factors that MSc is going to offer, in addition to what I have just said before, in addition to the flexibility of choosing subjects across various disciplines. Praveen?
Thank you, Professor. Yeah, actually, let me also thank Gautam V for having asked that question. And on the lighter side, we have another question from another student now. And I do have the answer to this question, but I would like you to answer it. Okay. We have Bharat Bagrodia, who's aged 18, asking us a very interesting question. He says that he's highly interested in joining MEC, and he wants to study economics as part of the curriculum. But he says his economical conditions do not allow him the freedom to join MEC the way he would wish to, because the fee is very high. And you being an economist, he wants to know from you, how he could tackle his economical conditions to study economics with you.
Okay, so basically, in economics, and since he's telling me, so let me answer this question as an economist. You know that there is a very famous economist named John Maynard Keynes. He once said, and everyone who is learning economics have heard about Keynes. He's considered to be the greatest economist of all the times. So what he said is, when you want to do a business, the cost of capital does not matter. What matter is the product or the business that you are going to do. For instance, Mahindra might be building a car, but at the end of the day, that car is getting sold for certain price, which would enable Mahindra to get or derive the profit. So what matter in this case is whether Mahindra is going to get the finance to build the car. You know, because if you are sure about the product, there will be some buyers. So coming back to this particular question, which to me is not at all a lighter question, but it's actually a very nice question to ask. Look at all the IIMs graduate. They don't care about how much fees they're paying, because at the end of the day, banks know that this graduate, once he graduates from the best institute like IIMs or IITs, he or she is going to get the job, and the money he will be making over the next 10 years or 15 years will be more than enough than what the loan he has taken. So coming back to his answer, given the Mahindra Ecole Central is going to give quality education and the brand name itself is there, I am very sure and confident that the kind of job he is going to get once he graduates from Mahindra Ecole Central will be more than enough to, within 1 or 2 years, he can actually pay back all his debt or loan he has taken from the bank. And banks will be more than happy to provide him with the loan, because at the end of the day, we have two big brand names, Ecole Centrale Paris and Mahindra, who is actually floated this institute. And the quality aspect is there, and the guarantee of getting good job is also there. So to the bank manager, had I been the bank manager, I would be the first one to give this guy the loan, because I know for sure that once he graduate, he's the one who is going to be a sure product who is going to pay back me my money. So in that way, I would say that he has nothing to worry about. In addition, we are also, if I'm mistaken, you please clear me out. We are providing some scholarships. So if he is good enough, he's also going to get the scholarship. So I don't think that, given what we are promising, he need to worry an iota of what's going to happen once he graduate, because bank will be after him to provide him loans to come and join us. So that, in short, I can tell you. The more I can tell you once he sit in my class as to how to maybe invest in some stock market or some hedge fund to make more money of the loan he is making. Praveen?
I'm sure you'll be able to give him that bit of advice as well, Professor. Very well answered, actually. The only reason I mentioned that economics with you, but he said he had an economical condition he wanted solved, and you gave a perfect answer to him. And we do have enough banks offering loans to all those who are eligible. Okay, now going forward to the next question, you have actually partly answered a bit of it, but it asks you, what is the relevance of economics today to technology and engineering of the now and the emerging times?
Mm-hmm.
How does one relate economics to engineering? Okay. E to E.
Okay, so let me answer this question in a much more lighter way. You know, one of my professors used to tell me that you might be a very good painter, but unless and otherwise you know how to market that painting, no one will actually recognize you being a good painter. So the same applies for all this technocrat. You might be very good physicist, you might be very good chemist, but at the end of the day, what matter is you are building a product, and that product is yours, and you need to know the market to market that product, and you need to know who you should be able to approach to sell that product. You need to know that how to talk to other business leaders, and that's why all the thought leadership of Mahindra have been emphasizing over and over again that in order to become a potentially employable graduate, what is more important for you is to have an holistic understanding of business, society, and economics. Because at the end of the day, just being operating under a specific silos, be it chemistry, physics, or mathematics, won't help you, because you need to, at the end of the day, we are all product. Even I am a product. The reason I'm here is because I have some deliverables which Mahindra Ecocentral thought that is useful. The same applies for any student or any potential graduate. So this is again and again I'm kind of harping, is it's a differentiating factor, because none of the engineering institute in India has understood the relevance of having or providing this education across various disciplines, which Mahindra Ecocentral is doing. Because again, what do you do? Only, let's say you are having a BTech. I've been visiting all the IIMs. Believe in me, most of the IIMs that all the students I've been teaching are actually BTech graduate. So to me, the reason they have come to IIMs, because at that point of time, the education has not been completed, because they have only some specialized knowledge on some specialized subject, and because you now need to know more about other subject areas like HR, marketing, economics, statistics, you have to come to IIMs. So in that way, Ecocentral is offering you a very good package, because here not only we are offering you courses that has to do with engineering per se, but in addition we are also offering you courses which you will have to go to other IIMs to get those courses. That flexibility is there in Mahindra Ecocentral, and that is the differentiating factor, not only for you, but also for you to be a sellable product. Because at the end of the day, believe me or not, all of us want to have a good job. And in order for you to bag a good job, you need to have some basic knowledge of statistics, economics, and society, and HR, the things I was telling you. So in that way, I think Ecocentral is certainly a step ahead compared to any other engineering institute in India. Praveen?
Thank you, Professor. Yeah, the latter part of your answer just now has effectively answered my next question. But at least for the benefit of the student who has asked that question, I will repeat that question.
Okay.
Do you think that the MEC curriculum is the answer to those students who, after their BTech, opt for MBA and business studies? And you have said yes.
Yeah. So I was not knowing that that question was coming. Otherwise, I would have
answered it in advance.
Yeah. So in fact, Praveen, what was more fascinating is when I first looked at the curriculum, I said that initially I was thinking, how come the Mahindra Ecocentral doesn't have a school of business? But once I went through or looked at the curriculum, that kind of gave me the answer, because you need not have to have a separate school of business when everything is already there inbuilt, So it saves you both time, money, and energy. Let me put it in that way. So it's a complete package which would help the student to come and cherish the subjects so any other question, Praveen?
Yeah, I like to. Yeah. I think we do have one more question from Shreyansh, age 17. He asks you two questions in one. One is that, what would you say about the current growth policy of India? Is it right, or do you think there is a need for change? That is part one. I will let you answer part one before I move to part two.
Okay. See, here again, glad that you asked this question. Here it spells out the importance of economics, because right now the big election which is being fought primarily on issues related to economics. So that shows you how powerful economics is. And in economics, two factors which are really important. The first is inflation, because all of us are worried about how come all the prices are going through the roof, and unemployment, whether we are going to get a job at the end of once we pass out. Well, MSc cannot do anything or cannot do much about controlling the price, but what it can do is to guarantee yourself getting a good job. So in terms of The current economic policy, I think that's a very broad question, but to be very specific, let me tell you that the reason why everyone or all the poll forecasters suggesting there may be some change in leadership at the center has to do with the fact that the incumbent government has failed miserably in terms of tackling these economic issues. So only time will tell that if some new government comes to power, or even if this incumbent government comes retain the power, whether the economic policies can be diverted to take India to a higher growth strategy. But at this point of time, we are not doing that well in terms of our economic growth, which also suggests how come the anti-incumbency factor has become so powerful. So economics is a very powerful tool, whether you want to become the prime minister or you want to become a teacher. Yeah.
Very well said, Professor. And the second part of the question asked by Shreyansh is, why is it that Indian engineers prefer to work abroad rather than India?
It's again economics, Praveen. But let me also tell you a differentiating factor. Not all Indian engineers will get an opportunity to work abroad. It's only the quality Indian engineers or quality Indian graduate who actually goes outside India. Because most of us, including myself, we depend upon scholarship to go outside India to get our degree. Even most of us who are working or were working outside India at some point of time, we have to recognize that the society or in terms of earning money, the job prospect was much higher there. And the reason I'm now sitting in front of you and answering you all the questions should also tell you that these days lots of people from outside India are coming back to India because in terms of living standard, you get the same type of living standard. I'm not talking about the environmental issues, but in terms of living standard, whether you want to go to the gym or you want to go to the clubhouse or you want to live a very sophisticated life, all these are available in India. So just to cut you short, the reason I think engineering students prefer to go outside India has to do with the factor that the belief is, the presumption is they are going to earn more money. But that presumption or that belief is changing now because we see more and more graduates or Indian graduates who have gone outside India. They are returning back to India in spite of having a secure job outside India. So India has started becoming a better place to live in as compared to what we used to see during late 90s. Definitely during late 2000, we have been doing or able to provide a much better lifestyle for our Indian citizen. Does that answer the question, Praveen?
Yes, yes, Professor, very effectively that too. And I think we have almost reached the end of our questions for today. A vote of thanks. Let me thank you and all the faculty members of MEC. Most of you have come back to India from abroad to create the top quality engineers that you just spoke about at MEC. So thank you very much for being with us today on Google Hangout. And
thanks, Praveen. So I'm happy that at the end of the day, corporate like Mahindra has ventured into this education sector. And to be very frank with you, we need some professional corporates activity like Mahindra to step in, because most of the time what happens is the education sector, specifically in the tertiary education sector, not too many corporate have ventured. I'm very glad that Mahindra has taken up this leadership role, and hopefully the biggest benefit of this would be the student who are going to come and join out here at MSc. Thank you very much.
Without a doubt. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us, and thanks for your questions. Keep them coming so that we can answer them in our subsequent Google Hangouts for you. Thank you. Have a rest of the day. Great.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.